It is my honor to introduce our esteemed chief guest, Sri Raj Shekhar Joshi, whose illustrious career embodies the ethos of the quote by Steve Jobs, "The only way to do great work is to love what you do." Sri Raj Shekhar Joshi is an IIT Computer Science graduate with over 3 decades of professional experience in almost all corners of India and abroad as a business and technology leader in association with many organizations like Reliance, Tata's, Aditya Birla Group, Macmillan, including an entrepreneur. He has been on board and trustee of several foundations. He has been state committee member of Vidya Bharati Uttarakhand. He has also been special invitee to Union Cabinet's Empowered Technology Group, member of National Focus Group for implementing new education policy in the area of technology in school education, University of Pune's Advisory Council, Macmillan Group's Global Electronic Publishing Committee, National Working Committee of Electronics and Computer Software Export Promotion Council, CISO Advisory Board Tech Mahindra, and also for CrowdStrike, a leading global cyber company. He is extensively involved in supporting educational and teacher training, especially in Uttarakhand, water conservation in Maharashtra, new digital media, etc. He writes and speaks on social, governance, and economic subjects in publications like Economic Times, CIO News, ET, CII Events, etc. He is also Group Digital Head and Joint President at one of India's largest conglomerates. He comes from a prestigious family of scholars in Uttarakhand and is based in Mumbai. We now invite Sri Raj Shekhar Joshi to share his wisdom and experiences.
Namaskar and good morning to you all. With me, I must acknowledge the distinguished presence of Shri Gandhiji on the stage, Secretary to SVKM, Professor Ramesh Bhatt, Vice Chancellor, NMIMS University, Shri Ashish Ji, Professor Dr. Beena, and also Professor Shri Maheshkar Ji, Directors and Deans of various colleges of NMIMS, senior faculties, and dear students. It's indeed a great honor and privilege for me to be here. NMIMS is an institution which is a well-known national institution. I have heard, people have referred to me in all parts of the country. They know NMIMS. When it comes to Bombay, top management school, they know what NMIMS is. So it gives me a great pleasure, and thank you so much for inviting me today on this auspicious occasion of the 21st University Day of NMIMS. I remember coming here 10 years back when I was doing campus interviews. I selected few students from here, and I must say some of them have been brilliantly serving the Aditya Birla Group today itself, still till today, as well as they have moved to other organizations, but they carry the relationships. So it's always been a very, whenever I think of NMIMS as an institution which provides really very effective professionals to the industry. So that's an image it carries. Academic world has been very close to me since my childhood, as I belong to a family of scholars, as well as over the years in various forms, and especially to the cause of education, whether it is working on the new education policy or essentially or also in my home state where I'm extensively involved in cause of education. It's always, yesterday I was in Delhi, but when Aparna told me that could I be here on this occasion, I said I must be here, and that's where I am here today. I'm happy to share a very unique perspective of myself. All of us have their individual journeys, and my perspective of more than 3 decades of being in computer science or digital, you could say that, and it's in my blood, literally. And driving digital transformation for one of India's largest conglomerates is a very interesting task, to say the least, which is there with the ever-changing world of technology. We have, like yesterday itself, I was working on the generative AI strategy, which is there, which, as many of you would know, is one of the latest things to really considered one of the game changers, or one of the biggest change, elements of change in the years to come. And also, looking at the diversity of our conglomerate, which spans, multiple industries, you could say that, from chemicals to cement to metals to financial services to retail, and you say it, which is there. And also, so this is a perspective of me, driving technology, being connected with the most advanced technological developments and implementing them, and as well as my thoughts on where society is moving, where nation is moving, where the world is moving. Every era has its own challenges, its own crises and opportunities, whether it was thousands of years back, whether it was 2,000 years back, 1,500 years back, and so on and so forth. And so no era is very different. And hence the most important era, is that we say all that, is now, what it is today. Because that's what we live in, and that's what we have the opportunity to experience and shape it going forward. As we all know, this is an era of unprecedented change, which is there. And I'm sure many of you would have heard about this time and time again. It is indeed an era of unprecedented change. What we see 20 years back, I mean, we are a generation which we call as a crossover generation. We experienced the black and white TV, we experienced the, the telephone, the old telephones, and we are seeing it today. So the kind of change it is mind-boggling, and what it is in store is further, which is there. And in this era of unprecedented change, we individuals or institutions or nations have some of the most defining opportunities of all times today. When our Honorable Prime Minister coined the term Amrit Kal for us, it is not about just a political, somebody would say, oh, it's just a slogan, which is there when we call that. It is not just a slogan. It is actually rooted in hard realities. The 25 years of the last 25 years of our, if we say 100 years post 1947, has presenting to us some of the most unprecedented opportunities, as I said, as well as in the times of crisis. And I think that there are 3 primarily elements which are there, which we have to see in perspective before we see what are the opportunities for us as individuals, as society, and as nation. The first is the geopolitical situation. The geopolitical situation is extremely favorable to India today. If you see, the world is in a state of dynamics. When I was engaging in conversation with our national security advisor, especially on what does it mean for India's national security paradigm, it is like a universe. If some of you who know physics would know that universe is not, there is a central body and everything revolves around it. There are multiple celestial bodies, and they all have attraction towards each other. And they all have their speed, their volume, their size, and so on and so forth. And it is the balance of forces of this attraction which holds this universe. The same thing is out here. From a bipolar world to a unipolar world, we are in a multipolar world. And that gives great opportunity to countries like India, who are geographically well suited in terms of where we stand in in a confluence of global South and North. One of the United States is definitely firing on full cylinders, as we know. China has been in a bit of a mess recently, which is there because of some, I would say, ill-designed policies and the instability of the internal structure, which is there. But that's where democracy plays a very big role. Democracy, with all its flaws, still remains the best system because it balances itself in many ways, which is there. The European Union is got old now, literally, which is there. And so countries like India are in a very remarkable situation. In the next 20 years or so, India would add more than 25% to 100 million of the world's productive population, which is there, while China would lose the same number in this period. Now, it is a great opportunity. China, because of its one-child policy being implemented severely at one time, now it is a stage where people are getting older, because we will get old, and the new kids are not coming at that rate. Of course, they are now trying very hard to incentivize people to have more children, but it is never easy. It's a generational game. So they're going to lose productive workforce. We are at a stage where we're going to provide the maximum number and a significant number of productive workforce in the next 20 years. Now that gives a great opportunity, but it's a small window of opportunity. As we say that we should become rich before we become old. Otherwise, we will also become an old nation, because our net birth rates are also very low today. So what we are doing in terms of momentum, if we do not seize the moment in 20 years, we would become an old nation with smaller number of young productive people and a large number of people relatively to support, which is there. Of course, lifespans are increasing, people are more productive into the old age also, but the dynamics will not work in our favor. So in this geopolitical world, and that's what you are seeing really, when India could host the G20 summit quite successfully and produce a consensus, which eluded in the last Bali summit, which is there. And this is all the reflection of geopolitical times. So that is one factor which I would say is greatly in our favor. And it means a lot to individuals also. I'll come to it. The second one is the institutional changes and the structural reforms and the infrastructural investments done in our nation in the last few years. Now that has given a good sound base, whether it's GST, whether it is various kind of laws in economic and financial sector, whether it is our strong thrust on infrastructure in the last few years, the kind of pace of change which is there is unprecedented. I'm also privy to the Prime Minister's Museum. I know some of you would have gone to Delhi. You must go next time and see the Prime Minister's Museum. And we are building the Modi Gallery right now, which is going to be unveiled by the President in a couple of days from now. When we were conceptualizing and we were working on that, we could see we could summarize the kind of progress which has been made in the last few years, and the balance which has been spread is immense. Recently, we passed the laws of CRPC, IPC, and so on and so forth. Many of you may not have noticed it, but I can tell you the kind of impact it will have on society is immense, because these are the laws which govern how society works. The Criminal Procedure Code, the Indian Penal Code, and so on and so forth. Because the rule of the law, and how do you handle legal cases? What are the kind of timelines to be set up that the case has to be solved? The verdicts have to be given. Now, these are unprecedented changes. I think if some of you who are interested, you must go deep into it. It will. When GST was there, people were saying, oh, it's going to be a problem and XYG. But that's now we have laid the foundation. We are one of the most fiscally disciplined country in the world today. And in terms of our current account deficits, our rate of growth, and so on and so forth, it's not for nothing. It has come out of a lot of hard work, which is there. So I think the institutional structures which have been made, and the kind of changes which have been made and which are still being made, are laying a solid foundation, if I have to say the least, which is there. So the first point I said was the geopolitical situation. The second which I said was the institutional structures and bases which have been made in the last few years. That makes us. And the third, and I think possibly a very enduring factor, is our spiritual and cultural legacy. And that is something which we must deeply ponder on. Our spiritual and cultural legacy It goes back, as we know, since time immemorial. And I will not go into that we were flying planes or we were having atom bombs, which is there. That's not I'll go for, because somebody would say it's all figment of imagination possibly. But I'm talking of hard facts. The fact that the grammar which was propounded by Panini 2,500 years back, if you see the formula, I'm a student of computer science. It has very clear structure in terms of what are the variables and algorithms. So the kind of structure which Panini could think of at that time, Maharishi Panini could think of, that the language should be constructed, the grammar should be constructed in a logical way, with variables and algorithms. That's the structure it has. Now this structure, English language did not have till the last 100 years back. It was done in the 20th century. So that is the base which is there. You see our educational base. Taxila was there for long back, Takshashila was there. Nalanda was formed in 500 AD, and it had a glorious history of 700 years. We must know where and it's 700 years, and it had 7,000 students who had their own rooms at that time. And this is all written history and archaeology. And it was burning in 1200, 1300 AD. The first college of Oxford, the Bailey College, came out in 1200 or so. So when Oxford was having its first college in its history, Nalanda was burning after a glorious history of 700 years. It is very important that when we go forward, that who we are, where we have come from, and what is our legacy and culture. Indian culture is not, and philosophy is not just about worshipping or going to temples and so on and so forth. Indian spirituality is deeply rooted in action. The whole art of spirituality is how can you, because we are in this world, this will have its worldly problems. And they are bound to be there. Now, how do we negotiate and engage with them successfully is at the heart of Indian spirituality. Gita was not taught by Bhagwan Krishna in some room or in some jungle. It was taught by Bhagwan Krishna in the battlefield, in the midst of hundreds and thousands of warriors. And it is a very practical way. There can be no gory scene, there can be no tough or bloody scene than a bloody scene of a battle. And the Gita was taught right in the midst of the battle itself, which is there. So that's our spiritual tradition. I can go on and on. There are so many examples, practical, which are there. And that's where when clearly said, when Shankaracharya said that the world is not troubling you. The world has its own troubles. It is your mind it is troubled. And therefore it is looking at it. When Bhagwan Buddha said that the suffering is two arrows. There is an arrow which the world throws at you. You cannot do anything about it. And there is another arrow which comes out of you as a reaction. So there are two arrows which are there. And therefore, the first one is not in your control. The second one is in your control. Now, all of these things we hear today also nowadays from spiritual advisors, spiritual learnings or New Age gurus. But this has all been there for thousands of years in India. The great traditions of philosophy. The great traditions of philosophy which were there since till when Buddha was there, the 1,000 years of philosophical of Veda and thousands of years of Veda and Upanishads. Then the further 1,000 of years when Buddha came, and Buddha had his clear thoughts of philosophy. And there was a 1,000-year debate between Buddha and the other beliefs, the Sanatana beliefs at that time. And such an interesting one, which is there. When Buddha produced, and then Nagarjuna was there, who produced its own version of philosophy, which went to Tibet, which Chandrakirti inferred in his own way. And it comes from 16 schools in Buddhism, in Tibetan Buddhism, and one of the schools is what Dalai Lama follows, which is there. So it's 1,000 years of tradition of philosophy. Then when Shankaracharya came in 800 AD, there's another hundreds of years of a new era of philosophy came in completely with, the whole tradition of Sankhya, Nyaya, Vaisheshik, Vedanta, and Advaita Vedanta, Vishishta Advaita Vedanta, the theory by Vallabhacharya, Madhavacharya, Ramanujacharya. It's a huge, rich tradition of philosophy which has been there. I'm just trying to put, thousands of years of knowledge in possibly a few seconds and minutes. But that's where it is. So the sum and summary, what I want to say is that there is a very deep tradition of philosophy, our cultural legacy and spirituality which is there. You must go deep into it. And that is what is now finding its expression today. And it is inevitable it will find its expression. It is the destiny of a nation that it will find its expression today. Because it is a very, last 75 years is a small part in our thousands of years of history. It's a blip in its long history. It is bound to come back. And that's what gives us the strength. Now coming to the modern world, what it helps us, how it helps us. You can say it's all like past. It helps because, as somebody said that our philosophy is not a shop or a product. Our philosophy is actually a supermarket. We are used to live in ambiguity. The Indian tradition is, because there are so many diverse thoughts, the spirit of inquiry, that makes us very, very, what you call as comfortable with the sense of ambiguity. And this is one of the reasons why many of the Indian CEOs succeed immensely outside India. Because our basic DNA is how to thrive in ambiguity. Our basic DNA is, and DNA you cannot forget. Today you are looking like this, but there is a DNA of your forefather some 500 years back which is expressing some way. Whether it is physical DNA or whether it is spiritual DNA. Because we have the capability, we have the inner strength to thrive in ambiguity, to thrive in chaos, to find the shades of gray. And this is a great strength because life is not black and white. Life is always gray. Shades of gray, less gray, more gray. And therefore, it is a great opportunity for us. So when I come to these, I again recap my three statements which I said. The geopolitical situation, the structures, the institutional reforms, and so on and so forth, and the thrust on building this nation prosperous in the last few years. And third is our spiritual strength and our cultural traditions. They are immensely strong. Please don't go beyond just going to temple. Yes, you must go to temple. That's not something I'm not saying, but go beyond it. Because our spirituality is rooted in action. It gives you that confidence. It gives you that energy. It gives you the feeling that you are the divine flame. You have what it needs to be. And you must be able to realize that. So this is very important. And I think on this auspicious occasion when there's a university day being celebrated today, I must try to share my inspiration with the students out here who are going to be the citizens of tomorrow, who are to negotiate the world. Because from the corporate side also, when I hire young people, what we often find is they are not able to, they may be knowing the skill, the craft, of course they have to learn a lot when they join after that in the practical world. But what they need often is resilience. What they need often is how to face adversity. As they say, it is not just enough to solve the problems, it's important to face the problems. So therefore, the resilience is extremely important. And the resilience comes out of spiritual strength. You must develop, apart from, of course, the management skills and craft and subjects which you have, you must develop a spirit of resilience. You must develop that strength, that inner capability to handle the adversities which life will throw at you, the changing circumstances. And you must see your place in your, whether it's a corporation you work for, whether you're a company you set for, the society and the nation which is there. So with these, these are the kind of values you must develop. This is an unprecedented time. Bhuto na bhavishyati. Na bhuto na bhavishyati. Because as they say, the present is the most important time. But this is really very different from what we have seen in a long, long time. So go, seize the moment. The world is a stage. You have all the knowledge and education provided by NMIMS, and you must develop the spiritual part of you also very well, gain that strength, and go and conquer the world. With these words, I'd like to summarize and conclude my speech. Thank you so much. Once again, I must thank the institution for inviting me and wish you a very, very happy University Day and beyond. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable insights.
It is with great honor and respect that I invite Dr. Meena Chintamaneni, our esteemed Pro Vice Chancellor, to deliver the vote of thanks for this special occasion.
Still not known. So very good morning to all of you. The chief guest for today's function, Shri Raj Shekhar Joshi, Group Head, Digital Technology and Transformation, and Joint President, Aditya Birla Group. Honorable Chancellor, Shri Amresh Bhai Patel, the Managing Committee members, Executive Committee members, office bearers of SVKM and senior officials of SVKM. Honorable Chancellor, SVKM's NMIMS, Dr. Ramesh Bhatt, Dr. Gandhi, JP Gandhi, happy birthday to you, sir. Our Secretary, SVKM, Shalin Bhai Devetia, Mentor, NMIMS, my colleagues, deans, principals, faculty colleagues, dear students, and of course the off-campus directors and the faculty members and students who are viewing us through the live streaming at their respective campuses. All of us acknowledge that this university and all the universities, educational institutions are established with the sole task of creating and disseminating knowledge in different domains and enriching the lives of citizens, especially the youth, which forms the future of the society and future of the nation. I wish to thank Shri Raj Shekhar for accepting and gracing our invitation within short span of time, readily and promptly agreeing to be here amongst us and celebrating this 21st University Day celebration. Thank you very much, sir. Your thoughts on unprecedented changes, preparedness on digital transformation would be really discussed, deliberated at our end at various forums, and we would see to it that how we prepare ourselves and our students for these unprecedented changes and of course on the changing technology and keep abreast with what's happening in the industry. We would also urge to all our faculty members to take advantage and the students to take advantage of this favorable geopolitical conditions and would at the university level like to kindle and reponder about the Indian knowledge system and the spiritual values that some were a bit lost in today's world, to get back to the minds of each and every one and get it into our mainstream across all our programs and across the university in every aspect. Thank you very much, sir. And along all this, the emotional quotient, as you said, would definitely be strengthened amongst the youth and see to it that they become more resilient when they work under you and the corporate in the corporate industry. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot for sharing your wisdom and your experience here. I wish to thank and place on record the support of the honorable visionary Chancellor, who has always been supportive to us and plays a very important role in the growth of the university. And Dr. JP Gandhi, who always proactively motivates us to think how better we could do at various aspects in every domain in functioning of the university. And probably if we forget, in fact, sir reminds us that how we could be better. This has really made a lot of difference in making us think how we can perform better. Thank you very much, sir, for always being there. Dr. Shalin Devetia, who couldn't be with us here today, always spends a lot of time, especially on Saturdays with us, planning and strategizing things. So thank you very much, Shalin Bhai Devetia, sir. The message would definitely reach you, but his planning and his strategy building has also given us a way to lead the departments and the various processes at the university. Thank you, sir. I wish to acknowledge the administrative team under Dr. Daftardar and all those who have been working for all the events and especially this event for all their meticulous planning and the various efforts that they take up for organizing all the events all through at the university. Thank you very much, sir. The faculty fraternity, who's the most important pillar, I wish to acknowledge their contribution, because of whom we have always been going ahead, and without their contribution, we at the university couldn't be in a position to have all these reports and all these achievements being said so proudly. So thank you, all the faculty members and all the leadership team. A very big thank you to all of you. The staff who always have been working at the back end have also been a great support, because unless their support to this extent would be there, all of us wouldn't have been able to go ahead in a manner that we are going ahead. So a big thank you and an acknowledgement to all the staff members of the university. Dear students, without you, and dear students who have been good students, thank you very much. A very sincere thank you to all the students who have been able to be a part of this event today, who've been viewing us and viewing this kind of celebration, and who would be witnessing the afternoon celebration, which is especially for y'all. A very big thank you to all of you who could make it here at the university and who would be our brand ambassadors hereafter once you pass out from this university. Thanks for being with us here today. Sincere thank you to the University Student Council led by Dr. Christine, who have relentlessly put in a lot of efforts, joining all the threads and making this event very successful. I wish to acknowledge the awardees. A special congratulations to all of you for your hard work, which has been recognized, and also wish that you continue doing this exemplary work hereafter. At the end, thank you one and all who've been here. Thank you very much. Thanks. Faculty members will stay back for this section. Yeah, before the national anthem, announce that. The students will leave after the national anthem. The faculty members will stay back for the panel discussion. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
As we reflect on the milestones we have achieved, we look forward to even greater accomplishments in the future, ensuring the star of NMIMS shines even brighter. We will now have the national anthem, after which we request the students to collect their lunch packages, following the directions of council members for a smooth exit from the auditorium. We will have two panel discussions on the next segment of this joyous celebration, for which I request all the faculty members to please stay back. We now ask everyone to please rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
We request the students to follow the instructions of the council members for a smooth exit.